Good morning. And Wendy, hey, I'm at the Kawempe National Referral Hospital. But I know there are so many people that have never been here. You have not come to this hospital before. But apparently, this is one of the best from what I've heard from people in delivery of kids. Now, yeah, okay, actually, I think it's the best for people that have a lean budget. They are very affordable. So, bamfuna mpola abasinga bazalira wano. So someone yesterday asked me about the Toyota Crown. Initially, this person wanted to buy a Mercedes Benz, and he asked me, can I get a Mercedes Benz at 25 million, which is possible. You can get 25 million in Morocco about now. Benz. Good morning, Mr. Lucius. Long time. Good morning, Mr. Emma. So then eventually, he came and said, can I like get a Crown instead? Because a Crown, in actual sense, the Crown might be more comfortable than the Mercedes Benz. Mercedes Benz has a brand. The Mercedes Benz is a very powerful brand. Even when not comfortable, it's very hard for you to convince anyone that a Crown can be much more comfortable than Hi Chris. But the Crown, there is this Crown Majesta. Actually, I think I know someone that just bought one. It's on UBB. He bought about 18 million. That Crown Majesta. It's a very comfortable car, but it drinks fuel like it's drinking water. It's 2.4 cc and above. There are some that are even 3.5 cc. So they are not very fuel friendly cars, but they are very comfortable. That's why you find that most of the times the people that are driving Crowns are those Basajja Bakulu Miaka 50 years, 40 years, 60 years, because at that age, we are focused at that age, 50, 60. At that age, you should have money. Good morning, Kenny. At that age, you should actually have money. Lots of it. You should have lots of passive income avenues. Yeah. So, anyway, but there are young people that drive the Crowns because they are very comfortable. But for people like me that live 35 kilometers from town, the Crown would not be a very good choice. Or even the Ipsum is not a very good choice. You get? Actually, instead of driving the Crown, you'd rather buy a drone, in a way of a drone. Because at least the drones are 2000 cc, they have VVTI. But of course, if you watch the taxi interview, this gentleman says Togura drone here, those drones have a lot of issues. So for him, he says it's a very good thing for you to buy a drone from the bond yourself. You get that. Morning council. When these drones start having problems, you can shower the entire country. Yeah, because they are electric, and I think the mechanics have not yet mastered how to work on them. They are too electronic that you need to have a good wiring person in case it starts running into problems, turbos and all that. Yeah, but overall, I think drones they don't really have a big difference with the Chigeges. I find that the Chigeges have more space inside than the drones. Yeah. Then there is that Spacio. I'm going to do a video on the letters, the X, the G, those letters that are on the boots of these cars for you to know the meanings. Probably for me to know more about it as well, because yeah, but overall, then there is this Passo Sete. I find that the Passo Sete looks better than the Spacio. It looks better than the Spacio, and you know the advantage with the Passo Sete. That's the Passo Sete. The advantage with the Passo Sete is that it's 7-seater, atenga it's a 1.5cc. But majority of these Passos zili 1.8. Ochitegera katika Passo kabaka kuwa good mileage. Kabaka kuwa mileage ennungi. So instead of buying a Ractis or a Spacio, I'd actually rather buy a Passo Sete. Of course, depending on what your budget is, because Passo Sete mpya, they are still new. You can get like a used Spacio, like let's say USZ at around 15, 16, 17 million. Yet you cannot find a Passo Sete at that amount. Which that would be the difference there. Then. You know, yesterday we were talking about so many things, and then we were talking about income and all that. It was a very interesting conversation. So I got one of my people here that called me, and we had a conversation of over an hour. Yeah, and I also wanted to request you to tell cars like drones. What's the difference in cars by looking at those letters? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, the best solution for most electric cars like drones, crowns, progress and others is to have an OBD scanner. Yeah, I think that would be, and OBD scanners are not very expensive, Accra. So I find that that's a very good advice. And crowns, actually there are crowns that have the same engine with the progress. So you'll find that the entire system is the same. But the people that drive progress, actually these days I see so many people that drive the Toyota Progress and they find no trouble with it. Okarabaka Passo Sete, it's very nice. It's a very nice car. I see so many people that drive the Toyota Progress and they have no trouble with it. So in a way, I'm forced to believe that the Progress is actually a good car. That when people were talking about it badly, it's just that the mechanics did not know how to fix it. There is my Corolla. Yeah, of course that one is newer than mine because it's a UAN, mine is a UAM, but it doesn't look good in white color. These cars are better in silver. That's my opinion. Someone might look at it and go, hey, that white one looks better than your silver one. But personally, this Corolla in white doesn't look nice. That's the Vanguard. I find that car they got the figure of the RAV4, they had a target to meet. So they pressed the design of the RAV4 to hit the target very quickly. So I want to also remind you that when you're driving on the Northern Bypass or the Express, normally I think the speed limit is 70 kilometers per hour. So when you're driving, it's important that you keep yourself within the speed limit. Now I'm at 70 kilometers per hour. I don't go beyond that. Kati ampisa bwembanze ndi ku 70 kilometers per hour, umuntu ampisa banga ku 75. It's not a very good thing. At beyond 70 kilometers per hour, you may not be able to control the car in case of anything. Actually, even the signpost is there 70 kilometers per hour. 70 is the speed limit. So normally when I see 70 as a speed limit, I keep myself within 68 to 70, 68 to 70. That keeps me safe. Yeah, so and the other reason why you want to keep within the speed limit is because you don't use the road alone. You get it? There are so many people that use this road, and you don't want to run into problems. If you want to know that problems can come to you, knock an individual, knock a pedestrian. That's when you will know that you can even go broke. It wouldn't matter how rich you are. That family can get money out of you. Even a person that has been making 5,000 a day, they will tell you, I've been making 50,000 a day. So you'll have to remit 50,000 to their family on top of treating them until they get well. That's why if you found those people that drive lorries, they will tell you when they knock someone, they come back and finish them because, well, towards Namulambo. For them, that's their motto. And then we see the Suzuki Jimny right there in front of me. Now that's one other very, very reliable car. You see this one is on UAF. It's a very small car, but it's an SUV. But it's not very common. Okadabaka UAF, you can find that person is not selling it. But that's a very, very reliable car as well. If I found it, I would buy it for my wife as well. Banga Machara Bagara SUV. And it's very friendly on the fuel. It's very friendly. So I'm doing 67 kilometers per hour now. It's very important for one to practice being within the speed limit. It's a skill that not so many people know. That wasange kubonga goroko fuberiti ayagala kulinya bulinyi mugenda mulabo waka probox ampitako wa succeed okitegeera na lumba. That's like 80 kilometers per hour. Very dangerous. Omwana wa boda bwasala mu katono bwati. There is no way you're controlling that car. You get what I'm saying? That's why it's important for you to keep within the speed limit. Then the Spacio, and then this is the Primo X. I think that's like a 2000. That's a 2008 model, the one that just overtook us. Yeah, but speed limits are very important. Yesterday I was having a conversation with Vianney, and he was saying he's an electrical engineer, and he was telling me that it is important for people that are thinking of good morning Seth, good morning guys, remember this Sinabuza. It's important that when you're investing money or when you're investing in a business, you invest in a business that you understand. Like for him as an electrical engineer, of course he works with Umeme, so you people are very stuck. We have people that work with Umeme as well. So he was telling me that for him, when he was thinking of investing in business, the one alternative he had was investing in electronics, because yasoma masanyalaze. So there is no way he can blunder with electronics. Of course, there are losses that you can't control in business, losses to do with taxation, losses that come with containers of goods getting lost. You get sometimes being sent counterfeit, getting robbed and all that. Hey, banange banna Uganda. Mumulabye omusajja avuze kawanuwe. Roundabout ajivuze chifura nenge. And such people are lucky. Me, I've never been that lucky that I can drive that one way and I don't get caught. Every time I do that, I get caught. So also yesterday someone called me and they told me that there is a day that my camera was very good. That day was just bright. You know, there are days that come and they are bright. Even cameras are perceptive to light. So I'm trying to figure out a way of actually putting a big light in here, because all my live broadcasts are in the car. It's until such a time when I can figure out, but our live broadcasts, for the love of cars, our live broadcasts work better within the car, because when we explore cars live, and what better way to do that than to actually do it when we are moving. You have this? Yeah. So the day that my camera was good, like today is a very dark day. I'd actually need to like now engage my light, and that means getting this power bank. And the reason I use a power bank is because, well, I switch off the engine sometimes, and when I switch off the engine, I have to switch off, because this car light can consume all the battery. But this power bank is very strong. It's see, so just imagine on a bright day when the light is coming from this way, it's coming from this way, it's coming from this way. That's why you would actually think that, oh, after I choose this SIM. One thing you need to understand, the phone I'm going to get, the S10, doesn't have a better camera than this one. These first phones that Samsung made had better camera, so I think they downgraded for reasons of marketing. That if you have a better camera in the S10, what are you going to sell with the S21? You get, yeah. So so I have to get like a mount. This would look nice. I'm going to do it like today. This would look nice, right? For me to have this light over my head like this. This is nice. So I have to get someone that does rivets to to rivet this here. This actually looks nice, right? So this is something that I have to do. And or probably like what if I put it here and yeah, but this is the best option. Yeah, so I'm going to work on this, guys. I'm constantly thinking about it. Yeah, but for now it has to be here, and it doesn't make that much impact. Yeah, the light is always better when there is a lot of light in here. So we were having this conversation and we were talking about the things we talked about yesterday. If you didn't watch yesterday's broadcast, go and watch it. It was very enlightening. So I was having this conversation with and I'm going to schedule like a recorded conversation. You see what we did with Council Yunus, and so that we talk about these various. And he was telling me that he wouldn't advise a young person to build rentals. That the rentals take a long time to make money, and this was his rationale, and it makes sense. That for you to build rentals that will give you at least 1 million, you'd have to buy land which will cost you like 20 million, let's say, or 30 million, because for you to get to have rentals that give you 1 million, you'd have to have like about 4 doubles that give you 250 and all. And for you to get in a place where they will give you 250, it's a place near town, and you would definitely invest about a minimum of about 80 million. A minimum of about 80 million. It can even be more. And you invest 80 million and get 1 million every month, which means you get 12 million every year. And 12 million, but you are you're going to pay taxes as well of the 12 million. After those taxes, you are also going to do repairs every year and all that. It means you're million. And for him, it doesn't make sense because he used to have rentals as well. And time came Nazi Tuunda because it did not make financial sense for him to have those rentals. Then he started Nasubula. But of course, he's on the ground. I don't want for someone that cannot supervise this to do it. For him, if he uses $10,000 is about 37 million. According to his business, he can make about 8 million in profit, taxes done and all that. So if he and he can sell the merchandise of $10,000 in a month, so which means every month, if he does it consistently, he can make about 8 million. His rationale made total sense. Okay, and for him, it's better that it's better that you invest in a business other than buying rentals. It makes sense, but I will tell you that this only makes sense for someone that actually knows how to do business. Which I've been telling you guys, like for me, goods are not my thing, services are my thing. I can know how to maneuver services because probably that's where my luck is. Everybody has a place where your luck is, and it takes time for you to discover that, okay, this is where my strength is, this is where God blessed me. We started with the car, and then we were talking about people that go ahead and borrow the year motor car and all that. Why would you buy a car before building and all that rationale? And personally, I find that it makes sense that you can buy a car before building, especially if this car is going to enable you to do business. You get. I remember before I bought my first car, it so happened that we had a show somewhere. I was 20 years. And at that time, it hadn't even crossed my mind that I need a car. And let me try this. So it hadn't crossed my mind that I needed a car. And at that time, we were using a friend's car. I was in my first year at campus. I think the first year was getting done. And we had a show. This was like our first big show. And he had a RAV4. And we had to go to my place to pick like speakers and all the things we were going to use on stage. And this guy was on the phone with his girlfriend, and I kept telling him, you know what, man, we are going to get late. And he told me something that made me change my perspective. And that's the day I decided that I was never going to be without a car. I told him tugenda kubalate man, tugenda kubalate soko ove kusimu. And he told me, Arthur, he was a rich boy, rich kid, yali ava mu family ngagga. So he told me, Arthur, nja kukugoba mu motoka yange njogera na mukazi wange. That day I decided that I was going to buy a car and I was never going to be without a car, and I've never been without a car. Because I realized that if I was going to keep having these shows and having them successfully, I needed to have a form of transport that I could control, and that's how I bought my first chibina. And for me, emoroka ezange zikola emirimu. Okitegeera ng'oggyeko bino ebyokutuvuga nti I take my kids to school, my wife to work, and I also go to work. Ebyo byonna bijjeewo. My cars make money for me. Okitegeera. So that thing has never gotten out of my mind. Nti guy yangamba ajja kungoba. And by the way, omukazi gwe yali ayogera naye ku ssimu n'amukwata the next month with another man in bed. You get. Kati baali bagenda kungoba mu mmotoka nga n'omukazi gwe bangobera mu mmotoka tali worth it. Okitegeera. Anyway, that aside, from then I've had a car. Nze sibirawo nga siyina mmotoka. If I sell a car today, tomorrow I buy another car. Era bwe kiba kisoboka that very day I sell my car, now I buy another car now. That has always been my thing. Martha, hi. So let me see. The best, so Juko Akrama said you buy an OBD scanner, but you told us that buying a car of 7 seaters with 1.5 is useless, but it would be weak since we shall be loading it to capacity. Yes, that's a fact. That's a fact. But if you're not going to be doing it constantly, the thing with 7-seater cars, people buy it nebagitikanga ipsam. Nenga bobo chimanyi ntogenda jigula limegitikanga ipsam. It's okay because there is having a 7-seater and the only heavy people are Emma and his wife. And the rest of the people, you have a maid, those people can sit in a 1.5cc car. And then also, the other reason is that you see the people that have ipsams, like Martha bwanagula ipsam ye, nagikozesa nagiteeka mu school van. Egenda beteekamu abaana 30. Okitegeera. The person said to put 30 people and the engine will blow within a year. You get. That's why I normally don't encourage people to buy 7-seaters that are 1.5cc. Because the engine cover weak for the kind of work you're going to use it for. That's normally why I don't encourage you to buy 1.5cc's that are 7-seaters. The 7-seaters in Spacio are normally 1.8. But the reason why Toyota is trying to be innovative, to give you things that you want. And one thing you need to understand, they never designed cars for Africans. Africans are big people. Japanese and most Asians are very small people. So they designed these cars for the Japanese market. And like if you went to the US and Europe, you'd find that most of their cars are not 1.5cc, they're 1.8, 2.0. Why? Because those people are big. So when you're designing a car for that market, you design a big car. But when you're designing a market for the Japanese market, a small car, because in Japan, there is no one that is as big as Arthur. But China, one. Chinese are very small people. So that 7-seater for a Chinese, normally be bantu musanvu in the Japanese market. So that's the other thing you need to understand, that these guys have never designed cars for us. That's why you find that German cars are big cars because the Germans are big people. Mercedes Benz in 1.5cc, 2.0, 2.5 because of baba nene. So they designed those cars with their market in mind. Nikakati ojagula akamotoka akatono Emma or Martha. I've never seen Martha's picture, so I don't know how big Martha is, but I'm imagining the way the name sounds, Martha. I don't know if I make sense. So it sounds like Martha is actually not that small. So oleto omukazi ngali kave ngali kilo 9 nawe Emma ate Emma olikolinga kilo 10. Kati mutuule emoroka bagikolera kilo 10 nga goli 10, Martha ali 9, muina abaana bamwe bombi bonna baheve kilo 7. You get. Then the maid naye mufunenga maid naye munene mugatemu mama wa Martha ogatemu muganda wo akamotoka katuule du. You get. That's why you need to buy Ipsam or gule hari akaundo, because those cars can actually withhold that weight. Yeah, but if you're a family of small people, then muba mujira bamumalako. Brother, can you give us some more information about Subaru? Which one is the best choice? Subarus, buy a Forester. Whichever Forester you buy, Forester is the most reliable car in Subaru, according to consumer reviews. Which take it. Subaru is the most reliable. The Forester is the most reliable Subaru ever. Which take it. So these other cars are also not that bad, but I would always advise for you to buy a car that it's not accidental. It's not accidental that a certain car is you see a lot of them on the road. It can only point to one thing, that it's very reliable. The Raum, for example, the Raum old model, it has a very small engine capacity, but how many of them do you see a day? And how many of them do you see on UAM, UAN, yet they came out at around that time? The reason is, one, they are not as reliable as we think. Yeah. Ipsa Mumanyi, yes, Martha. So do you recommend the Paso Sete? Paso Sete is okay. Martha, you're 60. Oh, it's okay. That's okay. 60 is good. And that imagination keeps on my tip, because I also just imagine how Kaveshi is if I nag Emma. I thought Nonya Emma losing interest in me. Emma tasobola yakubwadda. How about the Legacy before? Legacy, the before might be a good car, but no one is going to buy it from you. Because people tebagitegera. That's one thing you need to understand. I'm not so familiar with Subarus, but one thing I can tell you is that it's not accidental that the Subaru Forester is vast on the road. It can only point to one thing, that the Subaru Forester is a very reliable car. Then what one Impreza nabo bulungi. Actually, instead of buying the before, because the before that, you'd rather buy the other. What was that Forester? How did I yesterday when we were moving? What is it called? It looks like a before, but it's not a before. There are cars that you're going to buy in Ogura Daniel. If you decide to buy a before, just know it's going to be your car. You can buy it 10 million and you reach a time to sell and people are giving you 5. That's one thing you need to understand. Yeah. But I'm currently working on my weight. I may be like between 80 to 85 kgs. Whatever. Emma is heavy. 85 kgs. I remember when I had 78, I got hypertension. That's why I ran. Like my weight never goes beyond 74. But because I know when you're heavy, you actually lose, you start getting diseases. Emma, you're taller than me, so 80 might actually be okay, because my optimum weight should be 72. Now I'm 74 because of the muscle. You know, when you go to the gym, you gain muscle, and also muscle is heavy, but it's not as heavy as fat. It's not as bad as fat. Hey, Aban, get up. You're at school. You're good? You wake up your brother. So, really discourage me about the Legacy, but I really like. You can buy the Legacy. It's not that they are bad cars, okay? But reliability, the Subaru is better. Good morning, Dennis. The Forester is much better with reliability. It's like me saying you can buy the Raum if you can also afford the Spacio. But the Spacio is better. The Spacio is much better than the Raum. Then even resale value, the Spacio is better. So it's not that I'm discouraging you from buying the Legacy. How many people would actually, let's go back to our circles. How many people have you had that actually want to buy the Legacy? Bameka, that should tell you what happens with that car. So I encourage you to buy. No, I have your number, Martha, but I can't share your number. Kuja Kongo, but the authorization to share. But by the other, did you know you look somehow bigger here on the camera than you appear naturally? The first time I saw you and I thought true what you say, that sometimes you miss opportunity because of your size. Yeah, I do. No, but now I'm a little bigger. I'm a little bigger. I lift heavy weights these days. because I'm going to play Okonko in one of my plays, and Okonko was a big tall dude, but I can't get tall. Good morning, Charles. You changed it. Katimpereza message, but you should only you give me authorization as well to share with Emma. So Emma, I'm a little bigger now. There are times I lose weight, especially when I don't go to gym. There are times I'm very busy and I don't go to gym and I only run. Then I lose a lot of weight. Hey, that's the flu. You wait for mommy. Okay, you wait. Yeah. So but always when you're buying a car, look at reliability and look at also the resale value, because reliability and resale, those are very important things, especially for us young people, because katigwe you cannot tell me togenda vuga emoroka emyaka 10 okitegeera. I think this is the car, one of those cars.
You're awake?
Yeah. Help him. This is one car that I went for a party on Sunday, and one of my little cousins asked me after the motoka ngoludde nayo ngatolwa na motoka, you get. But this car has been very good to me. Like, I'm going to change the engine. I'm even thinking of facelifting it in 2010. When things are good, when you're good to someone, they'll do to you. Nabakazi bagamba gwe womo sirike kana kamotoka kawomye. Arthur, do you mean the breakdown Land Rover I see in Kampala have dominated the said business because they have a powerful? Yes, and they are reliable according to that business. Ochitegera, you can find that Land Rover cannot start with a key. Ngitandika nakawaya nenga bwetandika bweti bitandise. Ochitegera, you'll find that those engines, especially because those are Land Rovers Kajambia, they are not these new electronic Land Rovers. Ochitegera, those are Kajambia. You're giving him two, eh? The Kajambias, those engines were organic. Ochitegera, they were organic. Ochitegera. Mother, just send me a WhatsApp. Nze nja kuba nkufunye. Ochitegera. So all those old cars, that's why you find that the Chivina will be on the road longer than the Wishes. Why? Because that engine can be repaired over and over. Ochitegera. Yes, Nico. I was talking yesterday. We were with one of my followers here, and we were in the garage. I took him. He had things that he wanted to work on in the car, and I was going to also, you know, emoroka zife bintu very funny. Emoroka yange yafudeka na akantu akateekamu amataala. Let me show you. I think I have it here, the one I use. Have you ever seen a car that does this thing? Kati emoroka yange tefa bintu moroka ndala byezifa. Yafudeka na akantu nga bwoteekamu amataala olina okukanyeenyaamu bwoti amataala okwaka. Okitegeera. So, but I bought it like 60,000. Nchimanyi makanika wange yankubyemu ko naye bwe bakuba wano nga nawe baako gwokuba. That's how it works. So I bought this 60 and I replaced it. It was actually very easy to replace. Namulabye nga akasaine nga akakati. Anyway, so this is the thing that I had to go and replace, because sometimes I drive at night, very early in the morning I need the lights. So I went with him. Bamukolera the air conditioning system. Then bamukolera ne top cover seal. So and I was talking to my mechanic, like, since I'm going to put a new engine in my car, why don't I just upgrade it and facelift it and make it like a 2010? Because it's possible. So and he was telling me you can facelift it at around 3 million. If I have a new engine in my car, yeah, bano batabani bange bayina okujisanga nabo baraba 2010 model. So and he told me with my kit, the facelifting kit, and this applies to most cars, by the way. You can facelift your car as well. You can be having a Pro Box that looks old, and then you buy a kit, okay, and you make it a 2014. Webanga model HRE. You remember when we talked about models? Like a model can run for like 10 years. Like mine is 2010. You can find that my Corolla is the same model as a 2010 Corolla. So I can facelift my Corolla to a 2010 model. Neither I can get 2010, not a 2010 Corolla. So sorry. When you facelift, what they do in that kit, they give you a bonnet, Nebakuwa na matama. I don't know what they call them, matama, the side matamas. Nebakuwa bumper, they give you a grill, they give you lights in front. Then in front it starts looking like a 2010. Behind, they give you a boot, they give you lights, they give you the bumper. Then and then he told me that if I want to also upgrade the interior to make it 2010, I can also buy all these things that are like an extra 1M. That's like 4 million. That's a good deal for me to get like a 2010 car. So at a time when I will get some disposable money, I'll just upgrade this cabin of Nambi for 2010. And that would be a very good experience even for the people that watch this channel, for me to work on my car project car, for Aban to find it when he's like 18, and no one is telling him Aban yovuga moro kanka dovuga bidigumu. Bye. Bye. His friends are driving to 2015, probably 2030. I have my 2010. Kumba, I've got 2001. This bag, you're not taking it?
I'm taking it.
Don't forget to remember what you study. Yeah.
Can you put for me the charger?
What?
The charger.
I don't see.
Yeah, it's there. It's that one. Thanks.
Yeah, so Eddie in the house. Yes, good morning, Eddie. So Patrick, the breakdowns have very reliable engines, by the way. They don't die. It's just that they are not as comfortable as the new Land Rovers. Arthur, how much is engine Chigege? Don't you think that engine is like 7 to 8 million? Around 7 to 8. But you know that engine can be overhauled. That engine can be overhauled at around 3 million or 3.5. So I tell you, you need double PR. Which take it, if you find someone that can actually even this super custom engine is also overhauled. Can I tell you what about the one for Chigege? They can overhaul it, because instead of you buying an engine like 8 million, just know it's between 8 to 10. Pimp it. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I can also resell the one. Exactly. Even the parts that I will remove, I will sell them to people that want them, because they are still okay. Matamagadi okay, the lights are okay, the bumpers are the front bumper is good. Yeah. Anyway, but that's just something that I thought about. But I also think that anyone else that has like a car and they still want their car because it's still serving them, but the only like hindrance you have with your car is that it looks old. You can reface it, but facelift it. That's what happens to the guys that drive Land Cruisers and all. Even the guys that drive, you see that Lexus in front, you can buy a Harrier, the same model like that the Lexus that we see, and you buy parts from the Lexus and put them on a Harrier. That's what most people have actually been doing. In actual sense, they are driving a Harrier. They just facelifted it to look like a Lexus. Yeah, so that's what normally happens. Yeah. Yesterday I had a throat kind of infection. That's why I hadn't yet scheduled, but by morning it had cleared up. You can facelift your Chibina also. What model? But the Chibina can only be facelifted to look like the newer model of the Chibina. The half light that has those sexy black lights, sexy black front lamps. Yeah, this is the by the way, you guys, I hope you remember that Lexus was number 2 in the reliable cars all over the world, because that's the Lexus RX 270. That one is actually much more comfortable than the Kaundo, but even when you're buying, it's also pricier. And it almost looks like that Harrier that is going, but this one is luxury. I think your model stops at 2008. I'm going to look at it, but even 2008 actually looks nice. I'm going to research it and I see. From 2001 to I thought it's 10 years. I'm going to Google the chassis and see. You may actually be right, because then there is a model might actually be stopping even at 2006. Yeah, but we will research and see. Yeah, but either way, any car can actually be upgraded, and then you make it look better. So yesterday I was still telling you about the conversation I was having with this friend of mine, and of course, because yesterday we talked about passive income, we talked about a lot of. You see the RAV4 that is in front of this Harrier. That's one reliable car. Of course, they are both RAV4s. Even the one in front of it is a RAV4, the first generation, and this one, that one, the next one is the second generation. The model cars are busy reliable. Of course, there's a good jam that you can get the other one at around 10, 12, and it 15 and nunji. Yeah. So he was telling me he wouldn't encourage anyone to build rentals, especially when they are young people like us. Rentals should be a business for people that are established and people that probably steal money from government. It totally makes sense that for you to get apartments that give you 10 million, you have to invest over 10 billion. You get, but 10 billion, even when you just put it in like a trust, can make you more money in 1 year than those apartments will make you in 10 years. You get, in a way it makes sense, because for him he says he sold his rentals and he's doing much better than anyone that has rentals, the same kind of rentals he has, than the person that has had the same rentals for the past 5 years. It totally makes sense. I personally have never made sense of rentals. I've never made sense of rentals. Indicator. I've never made sense of rentals because I find that it takes a lot of time, effort, and money to make rentals stand. Yet their money comes slowly. But I also gave him the perspective of why Ugandans actually build rentals and homes. Because he was giving me the example. You remember when we were talking with JK, and then JK said that in Denmark you cannot buy a house at once. It should be mortgage. But in Uganda, the only mortgage kind of arrangement you have is for Banakoram. Like National Housing has mortgage plans, but for houses that will cost you 300 million, yet a house of the same caliber built by yourself will not even take 100. You get what I'm saying? Like people buy apartments, 2-bedroom apartments at 120. That's normally 200 million, 180 million. Like for me to buy a two-bedroom house at 180 million would be poor mathematics. This is our drone. You get poor mathematics for you to buy a 2-bedroom apartment at 280 million. It doesn't make sense at all. You get, because a 3-bedroom house built properly might not even take that much money. Luxury, everything. So then I told him that in Uganda, the mortgage we have is you building your house slowly by slowly. That's the mortgage we have. And that's how I've had mortgage. Like when I built my first house in Kasangati, I had 4 million cash when I started building. But I built it and entered it the way it was. And slowly when I would get 100K and take 100K and take 100K and take Kati. That's the way I paid my mortgage, my first house. Your environment charge. I had outgrown that environment. Then I sold that house. Then I got that money plus some money that I had, and I started the house in Matuga. And the house in Matuga is still better than the house I had first. That's how you pay mortgage in Uganda. And if you cannot go to a bank and never have mortgage, kati mu Uganda ato inakuba mugezi okusinga ku bazungu. Wadde tuloza anti abazungu bagezi. Abazungu barakanga abagezi because they are systems. Fe wante tuina systems. Fe mortgage yaffe yeyo kuzimba mu mpola mpola kyosobola kyozimba. Enyumba n'ogisitulako oludda. You get what I'm saying? n'oyingira olwo oludda bw'otuuka n'ositula oludda olulala. So that way you can find someone living in a house of 200 million. Hi Vincent, long time. You can find someone living in a house of 200 million, but when they have never touched 50 million in cash. You get it? But they got 200k, put on the house. 200k, put on the house. 200k, put on the house. You get, some people don't even know how much they have invested in their houses. Because in actual sense, you get, that's how we pay mortgage in Africa. Either if you're there as a young person thinking that you're waiting to get 100 million to start building a house, because when he repairs 10 shoes and makes 20k, he goes and pays for cement at the hardware. You get it? That's how most people are building their houses. They are not building because they have a lot of money. So when you find Athanga Kugamba Zimbi, a 3-bedroom house, Sigamanta in a cent, Arthur gets like 100k, buys 2 bags of cement, pays the builder and the porter. Never Zimba, 2 bags of cement. That's how Ugandans build. Forget about the guys that steal money from government. Forget about the guys of course there are people that save money over time. That's also another approach. But my approach is the mortgage approach in Uganda. Kati ye mortgage wafe bwe tumusasula bwe tutyo. Nti ogenda okumalako emyaka 10 ne wobe ennyumba wagiyingira tennaggwa. In 10 years ennyumba ebe ewedde. I don't know if I make sense. In 10 years your house will be complete and it will be worth an amount of money you have never touched in cash. Until you can find someone living in a house that is worth 40 million. Nayenga, they are not worth 40 million because they have never touched 40 million at once. You get it? But we all know people that started building like that. And it was actually a little easier for our grandparents and parents because for them, they had inheritance in form of land. So our grandparents and some of our parents, when they started building, they did not start from scratch. You get, they had a starting point, like his father gives him an acre of land, then he doesn't need to buy land, so he starts from there. This is the TX Prado, reliable still. It was a 1KZ engine normally, but it has only one problem: the ball joints. Most people that have had accidents in this TX, it has been the ball joints, zikutuka. So if you're ever buying this Prado TX, if ever you will buy it, you need to look to make sure that you maintain that part of the